What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Rockets Hits and Heartbreaks, where we kind of recap what's happened during the week with the Rockets and kind of look back at what we've done well some weeks and then wrong other weeks. We're going to go wrong this week. That's why I got the black on. We get the wrong situation. Missed a couple of tickets on Friday and then on Sunday that would have made it huge for Belmont at the Big A this weekend. Good news is we did sweep the card Saturday. We did hit all three of the pick fives and both of the pick fours on Saturday at Belmont at the Big A. So it actually was a profitable weekend at Belmont if we played the Rockets all 4 days. However, it could have been an all-time week if we, I should say, would have hit on Friday or Sunday, either one. Man, we really missed out on some really good payouts. They were really, really close. I thought it would be good to go over the Friday late pick five and the Sunday late pick five tickets that missed, just because I think you could learn a little bit more through that. There's the ones that we hit. The ones that we hit on Saturday, pretty straightforward. There isn't a lot really to talk about. It was pretty easy as far as, we really didn't have to sweat much out. We singled horses on Saturday that won, and when that happens, that always kind of helps. Unfortunately, that's a prelude into something that we'll talk about on the Sunday ticket where a single won and we missed it. But anyway, we'll get into that. Let's go over it now, and let's go over the Friday ticket first. So the Friday late pick five at Belmont at the Big A. If you want to follow along, I'll go ahead and pull up the screen now of the time form past performances, and we'll get to the fifth race here on Friday. And I've got the results up as well, as you can see right there. So let's go ahead. Let's get it started. Let's kind of get it talked about here. I'm going to put the ticket up now on the screen. There it is. The Belmont late pick five on Friday. And like you can see right there, $96 ticket for this one. Pretty similar structure to what we usually do. 3 by 4 by 4 by the single and by 4. We started off, like I said, with 3 horses in this first leg. And it was the 3, the 6, and the 9 that we used. We thought this was fairly straightforward. We almost went really short, as in single the 3 in this spot. We both really liked the 3. Camejo, the trainer here, I pulled him up there, Jose Camejo, I should say. He's been fantastic up on this NYRA circuit. He showed up at Belmont during the spring/summer meet, went to Saratoga. I mean, he's just been very, very good. So he brought up this horse on August 25th and ran in a maiden special weight at Saratoga. Got second, beating the neck in a really good effort, and was right back here in a good spot. Really liked it. Mile, stretching out to a mile over 7 furlongs. We really liked the horse a lot, and we almost singled in this spot, but we ended up liking another horse a little bit more later in the sequence that lost that we'll cover in the 8th race, second to last leg. But the reason we didn't single, it was because of a signal from Noise, the Chad Brown first-time starter by Arrogate. We'd kind of heard over the summer at Saratoga that Chad Brown had an Arrogate horse that could run a little bit. It looked to be this one, really good workouts. I kind of thought we'd see this horse at Saratoga. We didn't. We saw her right here on Friday, or last Friday, and it was just one of those things that we felt like we needed to include this horse for obvious reasons. I don't need to get into Chad Brown, Irad Ortiz with a first-time starter. So we included the 9. We also ended up including the 6. This one was probably a dumb use. Easy to say looking back at it. 2 races back, tried the Grade 1 Acorn as a maiden. Didn't do very well. She tried it because she ran well in a couple of maiden special weights leading up to it, and it was a short field. She thought she'd give it a little bit of a shot. Didn't run well there. Last time out, stretched out to a mile and an 1/8 and tried at Saratoga and was really brutal. He didn't run very well at all. So I don't know. I thought cutting back to a mile, that might be good. If she could get back to that debut effort or that effort second out, which we're at a mile, we might see this horse pull off a win here. It was not the case. But we were very confident in 369. We were not worried using those 3 horses that we would get through it. And if you look, it came in 396. So we were right there with all of them. And but the horse we thought about singling did win, so that was kind of the bad thing. But 1 for 1, got through there without any problem. Next race, always a tough one. Maiden special weight for New York breds, win 6 furlongs on the turf. It's always a wide open event. We went 4 deep, 4, 7, 8, and 9. We'll quickly look at these. Wesley Ward, first-time starter. Joel Rosario board, obviously one you got to use. The 8 and the 9, I'll pull them up real quick here. The 8 coming off of a third-place effort on debut at Saratoga. You got to think that horse was going to move forward. The 9 was coming off a fourth-place effort at Saratoga, but was cutting back in distance. Thought that could help. Second-time starter for Christophe Clement. Thought that would help. And IRAD riding back, so thought that horse would run well. Last horse on the ticket was the 7, Dr. Settle's Dream. Most times I would not use a Bill Mott first-time starter in this spot, but I really like the breeding here. Oscar Performance on top, Warfront Mare on the bottom, and that Oscar Performance, I kind of thought the horse might have some speed, might be a little precocious early. Bill Mott, usually second time out is when you use him the majority of the time. Kind of just thought this horse might be able to run a little bit, and you just looked at this field. Look, I mean, the high time for him was a 78 because the 12 scratch there. So, yeah, not great. You didn't have to be great to win this race. Threw the 7 on the ticket. She was the 4th horse in. Spoiler alert, 7 wins the race. 7 wins and pays $27. We're 2 for 2 with a heavy favorite in the first leg, and then, the 7 gets home in the second leg. So we're feeling pretty good. All right, let's go to the third race now. Another race we went 4 deep, 3, 4, 7, and 8 here. An allowance on the turf, going a mile and 3/8. Another tough race, I felt like. A lot of ways you could go. We debated on several here and trying to get it down to 4 horses. Let's take a look now at the 3 Mo Rewards. The horse had been good since coming back off the layoff. 4th and a 3rd off of a long layoff of almost a year. Got onto the turf and was running pretty well. I like to stretch out to a mile and 3/8. The horse ran pretty well on a mile and 8, so I felt pretty good about that one. Sea Falls, it's a horse I thought would get the lead, and I thought that he could take this field gate to wire. Not a lot of speed in this situation. You saw him get to the lead in a couple of races, pretty similar to this, and get caught, but I thought maybe the trip would be kind of ideal for him. The 7, obviously Chad Brown, runner, second off the layoff, ran pretty well last time out at a race at Saratoga. Just a horse that I thought logical improvement was probably one we needed to use there. And the 8, Shoddy. As I go through this, these races and her past performances, she's always there. He's always there. He's always got a shot. The race last time out, I was actually there. That was the day after the Travers. Horse ran well. It was a little short for him, I feel like. And I thought the stretch out would really help. Kind of see all these races. It's like, yeah, he's there. He's closing. He's got a shot. I just thought the stretch out to mile and 3/8. We'll give him one more shot. Kind of one you don't like to use a lot because there's a lot of second and third place finishes. I just thought the distance change would help. So we went 3, 4, 7, 8 in that one. And I really, the 8 gets it done. Shoddy. The distance helps. Kind of catches the 7 late, and another nice payout, $13.80. So we're feeling really good going into leg number 4. We know this thing's going to pay quite a bit, and we're feeling great about it. So here we go. We get to the leg where we lose here. We singled the 7 Miracle. I'll pull up Miracle here, kind of explain why. This filly on debut over the fast dirt at Saratoga looked great. Absolutely ran away from a field. The next race went to a New York Bred Stakes on New York Bred Showcase Day, the day before the Travers. Got beat by Maple Leaf Mel, but didn't really bother me. Maple Leaf Mel, really nice horse. Was a big fan of that horse going into the race. It was over a sloppy track. Miracle, didn't run great in that race, but certainly thought, she was going to step up and run a better race here. You look at these speed figures, she's certainly the best one of the bunch. And we just kind of felt like she was a more likely winner than the 3 in the first leg. And that ended up being our undoing as you scroll down here in the 6, Gambling Girl gets the job done, and Miracle gets second. Now, the one thing I will say, I did consider Gambling Girl, but I can't be too upset because the 4 and the 2 were kind of the other 2 horses we were looking at. We probably would have had to go 3, maybe 4 deep to get to the 6 Gambling Girl. And, the biggest thing here, she had been defeated by a couple of runners in this race on debut, was beaten by Lady Mine, and then was beaten by Miracle in the next race. Did win by 10 in that last race, but the time form, as you see here, came back as a 74. So she actually, from a time form perspective, was getting a little slower with each race. I realize the connections of Todd Pletcher and Irad Ortiz make a ton of sense. I realize a 10.5 length win is impressive no matter what, but I just didn't think she was quite as good as Miracle and Lady Mine, and she was. She turned the tables on them. I think 7 furlongs has kind of been in her wheelhouse, and so one of those things. We tried to have the single there. We just felt like Miracle kind of was a standout, and it ended up not working out, and so we're out at this point. We lose, and then you go on to the 9th race. We were 4 deep there with the 6, 7, the 9, and the 10. And, of course, blame it on Mary. The 9 wins at a big price. And this one will make you want to throw up $8,833.50. We go 4 or 5. Of course, with the 7 winning that race, it's not going to pay $8,800. It's still going to pay a ton. We missed out on a big one here. Wrong single. And that's really the lesson learned. Like I said, if you scroll back up here in this 5th race, that is the other horse we thought about singling. And really this 9 horse was kind of kept us from doing it, the Chad Brown Firster. But if you single there, and all of a sudden you've got a lot to play with, and you can go a little bit deeper in this 8th race, and you might be able to get there. So, again, don't feel terrible. At least it wasn't the second choice that we had that beat us out of that stakes race, but it was a gettable horse for sure. And Todd Pletcher, Irad Ortiz knocks you out in this situation, and it's just one of those things that it's not like we hated the 6. We just thought the 7 would be the logical winner on the sequence, and tried to get it that way. So Friday was a big heartbreaker. We're going to go to Sunday now, though. I wouldn't call it quite as big of a heartbreak, but it always sucks when your single wins and you lose the sequence, and that's what happened on Sunday. So it's the Sunday late pick 5. We'll go back here to this one, and we'll get this one kicked off here. So let's go to Sunday also on our time form. We'll go through kind of what we were thinking here, and also let me pull up the ticket that we did. There we go. Okay, so the Sunday ticket, a little bit different from the Friday ticket. Did have a single in the sequence. It came with Kamari in the second to last race, the 9th race on the card, and we'll go over that one in a second. We went 5 deep, by 4 deep, by 4 deep, by the single, by 2 deep to finish it off. And I'll just kick it off here with the 6th race. We went 5 deep in this situation because this was just a wide open race on paper. Maiden special weight going a mile and 16th for 2-year-olds. Really just couldn't fall in love with a lot of the first-time starters, or with a lot of the second-time starters, I should say, in this race. We went 1, 4, 6, 8, and 10. So we did use the 1. I'll just go in order here. We used. So the 1 was a logical use, right? Second time or third off the or third time running for Bill Mott. Moved to the turf last time out. Very similar race at Saratoga. Lost, but was second but got beat 3 3/4. And so that was kind of the worry, kind of a speed and fade. Had a right definitely to improve today. Thought that one was one we kind of had to use. The 4 we were interested in, second time out for Clement. Didn't run that great on debut. That's a given, but we thought could definitely see improvement with that second start. We were just trying to kind of spread here and just get through and survive. First time starter here in the 6 horse for John Terranova. The big key was Jose Ortiz jumping aboard. You kind of see over here only 3 times in the last year has Ortiz rode for Terranova. Just kind of felt like, Ortiz jumping aboard, maybe this horse can run a little bit. Had some decent workouts down here as well. Warfront on the bottom for the pedigree. We thought that could work out. So we included the 6, the 8, another unraced horse, but this time obviously Chad Brown. So, that goes without saying. You probably want to get that horse involved. Flavian Pratt aboard, and another one pretty darn good breeding. We thought the 8 might be able to run a little bit. And the 10 horse for Mark Cassie, maiden special weight on the turf, 2 races back. Got second, only beaten a length and a quarter. Ran so well that they tried the with anticipation last time out. Was 4th, beaten 3 lengths. Ran okay in that race. I thought that horse was pretty good. Took a lot of steam. Was 3-1. And so rounding back here to maiden special weight, just thought that one was a must use. So tried to spread it out, tried to go deep here, went 5 deep. Even this Cassie horse in the 10, we weren't overly confident in that one. Obviously, we're going 5 deep here. So we certainly tried to spread it out. One horse we didn't use was the morning line or the post time favorite, the 3 Triple Start. Todd Pletcher horse went in a maiden special weight at Saratoga off the turf, got second, beaten 6, now on the turf. But yeah, we didn't think that horse looked all that great. We were not that excited. Look, the time form came back 81. I know we're changing to the turf. We could see an improved effort, but we did not use that horse. Anyway, go on and on and on. But the good news is that first time starter for Terranova won the race, 29-20 on the win for this horse. Jose Ortiz did jump aboard. You kind of see we did not have the second place horse. We did have the third place horse, American Hustle. So it was a great way to kick it off. We were really excited about this one, a 29-20 winner to kick this thing off. So really pumped to get it going. So second race, I'll scroll it down there. The 8 was the winner here. We went 4 deep in the second race. 3, 5, 8, and 11 is what we used in this one. Kind of go over some of these. The 3 was interesting to me, and this was one that I added on the ticket. And as you see, nowhere to be found. I think at second to last. But, this was one getting back to the dirt, changing trainers, kind of taking a drop in class as far as the dirt races are concerned. I don't know. I just thought the horse might show up and run an improved race, getting to a mile. I liked that. This race here at Fairgrounds probably would have been good enough to compete. He didn't get anywhere close to that, though. So the 3 ended up being a wasted use, so to speak. The 5, first off the claim and getting Flavian Pratt aboard, I thought that horse made a ton of sense in this spot. And as you see, the 5 also got 4th, so he didn't run very well either. A couple of wasted uses that are going to come back to haunt us. We could have maybe went a little shorter. The 8 we both kind of liked, and we almost went 8-11 here. Moral of the story, we could have, should have, and it would have came in for us. But second in a starter allowance last time out, stretching out now to a mile. Kind of felt like this horse was fit pretty well. Endowed was a top pick by both of us. Another one just thought cutting back to a mile was going to help this horse. Last time was at a mile, broke the maiden at Belmont Park. So felt pretty good about the 8 and 11. Just kind of took a shot there with the 3 and the 5. And of course, the 8 and 11 run 1-2. Good news is we had it. We're alive. The bad news is you do kind of feel like when you go 4 deep, but you thought about going 1 or 2 and really 2 deep. We never thought about a single, but that's kind of a pit in your stomach type of feeling of, well, I hope that doesn't come back to haunt us. That's where we could have saved a little bit there. But it is what it is. So go on to the third leg, 2, 8, 9, and 10, who we used in this one. And you look, the 8 was able to win this race. So let's go now to this one, 2, 8, 9, and 10. The 2 in the starter allowance going 6 furlongs here for 3-year-olds and up. The 2 had run very well, got second by a neck, first time out for DePaz. Off the claim there. So definitely one that you thought you absolutely must use in this spot. The 8, the eventual winner. First off the claim for Breen, had won 2 races in a row in the claiming ranks, and so now had to come prove it in the starter allowance ranks. Be honest, I just showed you the horse won, but probably the last one on the ticket in this leg. I was not a massive fan of this horse. I thought the class jump would get her. Jared did like the horse a little bit. I think I had her in like 5th, Jared maybe 2nd or 3rd, and so it's like, yeah, okay, I can use it. We can throw her on the ticket there. The 9 was tweaked. Another horse I didn't love, but the race 3 back was probably good enough to get close here. That was the race that was won by Abuse of Power, the horse we used, but the horse was kind of right there with him. So I thought, well, if we're going to use the 2, let's use the 9. Another one didn't do much running, probably didn't need it on the ticket. And the 10 was crowding out and coming off a 2.5 length victory. Another horse off the claim for Breen. I thought this one would be better with Irad Ortiz jumping aboard. I thought that's the one to kind of watch out for. It turns out you had to watch out for both of them as they complete the exacta with the 8-10 there. So we're live. We're 3 for 3, a $12 payout there. And you review, no favorite yet, 29, 20, 7, 10, and then $12. Now we get to the Gallant Bloom. That was the single of Kamari, and there's your favorite at 320. So a nice winner here on this card. Very, very nice here. Kamari at 3-5 gets the job done. Half length victory. Last time out in the honorable miss, she looked like she was back in top form, and she showed it. Lady Rocket gets out to the front in this race, and kind of around the turn, you're a little anxious, but Rosario really didn't ask for Kamari's best in this one, and she was still able to get it done. So you're 4 for 4, and you're going into the last leg too deep, and definitely not what you want to be. You want to have more coverage than that, but end of the day, we had to go pretty deep in that first leg. That was the last horse on our ticket in a 5-deep leg, and it won. So you had to go deep there. We did make the mistake. We probably only needed to go 2 deep in that second leg. We went 4 deep. The third leg, that was the last horse on the ticket, and then, of course, the single. So the only place we could have done a little bit better, maybe go 8-11 in the second leg and then use 4 horses in this last leg. So we used the 6 and the 8. You pull it up now, 2, 4, and 6 is how it came in. So the 2 beats us, and Irad Ortiz beats us on Friday and on Sunday. So that's something to behold. So here's the deal on this one. I'll pull it up now. I had no strong opinion on this one whatsoever. As you guys know, I use Timeform, and you just the quick look before you even dive into it here. By the way, 9 and 10 scratch, or 10 and 11 scratch. You'll feel the 9. They're really similar numbers, right? And when you dive in and you actually click on each one of them, they're just really similar. I had no strong opinions whatsoever. Jared did have a pretty strong opinion on this 8-horse Blue Times, and you kind of look at the pace projector here. Kind of pull it up for you. Did look like the 8 could get loose on the lead, and I like the 8 a little bit as well. And so he had a really strong opinion on the 8. Thought that horse could be one to watch here. And if there was a closer that was going to win, we both kind of thought it would be the 6. You know, the 6 looked very good as well. So we went 6-8. The hard part about this one is my top pick was the 2. I kind of just leaned on connections in this spot. But we kind of needed to go short somewhere. We just didn't have that strong of opinion in that second leg. We did, from Jared's side, have a really strong opinion of the 8, and we both liked the 6 a little bit. You know, and I was conceding. I said, I get it. Like, I get that this 8 could go gate to wire here. And sometimes when you're combining and one person might have a horse on top and then the other one might have it like 5th. And so I had the 6 and 8 in second and third. He had them in first and second. So it was pretty easy to just kind of say, well, let's just use the 6-8, stay under our budget. We try to stay under $100 and go with them. As it turns out, said the 2 does win the race. The 8 gets the trip you want and just doesn't run very well. Just kind of gave it up. The 6 looked like might be able to close. Was doing pretty well down the lane to close. Kind of ran a race very similar to what he did, what she did right here last time out at Saratoga in an allowance race. Just kind of got behind and made up ground, but not enough. Pretty much what happened there as well. So this one, it is what it is. I certainly, looking back, know we would have hit this one if we flipped the second race, go 2 deep in the second leg, and then go 4 deep here. I absolutely know we would have hit it. I absolutely can pinpoint that was a mistake we made. Where on Friday, it's like, well, your single lost, so that just is what it is. If your single loses, not much you can do. Here is just totally a structure flip-flop, and that's how it goes. That's how it goes sometimes. So the pick 5 here, not as big of a crushing blow, $1,858 for this one. So this one a little bit easier to swallow, especially after a really, really good Saturday, I should say. This one, it kind of, whatever. It happened. So the one on Friday, big time crushing blow, could have had it. This one felt like should have had it. It just kind of made a mistake there with the structuring. But listen, when you're trying to play these sequences and you're trying to keep them under $100, you have to make cuts some places where you don't want to make them. We could have went 5 by 4 by 4 by 1 by 4 and played a ticket well over $100 and hit it. But day in and day out, you don't really want to do that unless you've got a pretty big budget, because that could really eat up a lot. And even if you're playing, say, $200 tickets, you're still going to miss your fair share of these. So kind of harder to do it. So anyway, that's what happened. That's kind of what happened this week. 2 tickets that certainly we were all around it, could have hit it, just didn't quite get it done. So that's what happens sometimes with these. Very tough to hit these pick fives. And we'll see what happens. A good week overall because of that Saturday, but could have been even better. But all right, we're going to get off here now. I'll let you guys go. But we will be back next week. We've got a lot of action coming up this week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday back at Belmont and at Churchill Downs. And we'll also sprinkle in a little bit of Gulfstream, I would imagine, as well. And Santa Anita is back, and we will be at Santa Anita Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So a lot coming up for the Rockets. Hopefully you guys took a little bit away from this video, even though they were losses, kind of maybe help you in the future of when to go short, long, whatever. And yeah, that's it for this week. So, all right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thank you all for watching. We will be back next weekend or next Monday, I should say, and hopefully we'll be talking about some winners instead of a couple losers. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next week.